Imagine a world where the line between friend and foe is as fluid as the tides, where alliances are forged, not in trust, but in necessity. And where the most feared pirates of the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, and beyond relied on unexpected allies to survive and thrive. Picture a privateer, a rogue officially sanctioned to plunder the ships of his nation's enemies. Standing on the deck of a creaking vessel, eyes scanning the horizon, he isn't alone. Somewhere in the mist, local tribes with knowledge of hidden coves and secret passages move silently, ready to strike horror to disappear. And somewhere else, across distant seas, corsairs with reputations that make kings tremble await the perfect moment to turn the tide of war. These aren't stories of lone rogues or mythical treasures. These are stories of alliances that shaped history in ways most of us overlook. Before we dive deeper, if you're enjoying this story, hit subscribe, leave a like, and comment below telling us where and at what time you rewatching it helps me keep these stories alive. The age of piracy was never just about rebellion and treasure. It was a network of relationships, a web of opportunists and opportunistic powers. Take privateers, for instance. Unlike pirates, they carried a letter of marque official permission from a government to attack enemy vessels. In theory, this made them legal, patriotic, even heroic. In practice, it was a slippery slope. A privateer might wake one morning sanctioned by the English crown, only to find himself labeled a pirate by the Spanish by nightfall. What kept him alive and profitable were his allies. And these allies were rarely the ones you'd expect. Local tribes, often misunderstood and feared by Europeans, had knowledge of coastlines, currents, and hidden harbors. By cooperating with these tribes, privateers could navigate waters that would have spelled disaster for anyone else. But alliances were never simple. Trust had to be earned, and betrayal was a constant shadow. Corsairs, on the other hand, operated mostly in the Mediterranean. They were privateers too, but the term often conjures images of North African or Ottoman sailors who struck swiftly and vanished like ghosts. Their success depended on local support villagers willing to provide supplies, intelligence, or safe harbor. Sometimes, alliances were forged out of fear, sometimes out of mutual benefit, but always required a delicate dance of diplomacy and cunning. Imagine a small Mediterranean village where merchants whisper of a corsair ship sighted at dawn. Do they aid the corsair, hoping to profit, or hide and risk the wrath of a passing fleet? These choices were the lifeblood of pirate strategy. Across the Atlantic, in the Caribbean, European powers carved islands like chess pieces. But local tribes, the Caribs, the Taino, and others, remained. Europeans often dismissed them, yet their knowledge of the islands was unparalleled. Pirates and privateers exploited this. Some tribes traded intelligence about Spanish treasure fleets, guiding pirates through hidden channels and around blockades. Others supplied food, medicine, or warriors to strengthen pirate crews, and yet the relationship was uneasy. Tribal leaders knew the value of these foreigners, but feared their unpredictability. A single misstep could turn an ally into a deadly enemy overnight. Think about that. A pirate captain might plan a raid for months, plotting the exact time a treasure galleon will appear. But a sudden betrayal by a local tribe or a missed signal could mean disaster. And yet, the same tribes could save him from certain death, providing escape routes even the most experienced sailor wouldn't know. It was a relationship built on risk, intuition, and the unspoken understanding that survival depended on cooperation. Some alliances were shockingly intimate. In the early 18th century, pirates like Henry Morgan relied on both privateers and local allies for campaigns against Spanish strongholds. Morgan's attack on Panama City wasn't just a display of audacity, was a coordinated effort involving guides from nearby tribes who knew the swamps, the tides, and hidden paths. Without their guidance, the famous overland march might have ended in failure. Even legendary pirates were rarely lone geniuses. They were part of a network of interdependent allies who shared risks and rewards. Corsairs also depended heavily on alliances. Barbary pirates forged relationships with tribes across the Sahara and Mediterranean coasts. Some supplied men, horses, and knowledge of inland routes, allowing corsairs to transport captives, evade European navies, and maintain supply lines across continents. The sudden appearance of a corsair ship might seem like magic, but behind it was a web of human collaboration, intelligence, and negotiation that rivaled any military strategy. The stakes were more than survival, they were economic. Pirates, privateers, and corsairs all depended on resources: food, ammunition, trade goods. Local tribes often controlled these resources. They knew the seas, the winds, and hidden dangers. By forming alliances, pirates exploited gaps in imperial knowledge, turning the unfamiliar into advantage. But trust had to be earned through diplomacy, respect, and sometimes violence. Betrayal was as lethal as any cannon shot. Consider moments when alliances were tested. A privateer caught between national loyalty and the practical need to work with a tribe faces a dilemma: honor the letter of marque or accept the tribe's guidance through treacherous reefs. Every choice carried consequences. History is full of crews abandoned by allies, treasure lost to betrayal, and small tribes destroyed for choosing the wrong side. Yet, when alliances succeeded, rewards were enormous. Wealth, survival, and strategic advantage few could match. There's also a psychological element. Pirates were outsiders, often exiled from society, and alliances offered more than material benefit. They offered legitimacy, identity, and protection. Local tribes and privateers provided not only maps and manpower, but a sense of belonging in a world that could be harsh and unforgiving. The mutual respect or mutual interest between pirate and ally created bonds that sometimes lasted decades, shaping political and economic landscapes. Even daring attacks relied on networks. Take Nassau in the Bahamas. It wasn't just cannons and swords, it was coordination. Local guides provided intelligence on patrols, privateers offered tactical expertise, and pirates supplied brute force. Without each piece, the operation might have failed. Piracy thrived not in isolation, but in complex social ecosystems, where trust, knowledge, and timing were as valuable as gold. Patterns emerged globally. Alliances between pirates, privateers, and local tribes were pragmatic, temporary, and fragile. Born of necessity, maintained by negotiation, dissolved by suspicion. Yet, they show the remarkable ability of people from different cultures to work together under extreme pressure. It's a lesson in adaptability, understanding, and recognizing that success often depends on relationships as much as skill. Even today, echoes of these alliances linger. Tales of corsairs aided by desert tribes, privateers guided by Caribbean natives, and pirates thriving thanks to local intelligence challenged the romanticized image of lone buccaneers. History is rarely about individuals. It's about networks, influence, and unexpected cooperation across cultural divides. The contrast is striking. Pirates were feared, lawless, violent, yet survived and thrived because they understood networks better than powerful enemies. Nations sent fleets, yet privateers and tribal allies outmaneuvered them. Corsairs struck, but only with knowledge and resources local communities provided. In a world dominated by empires, these alliances offered freedom, opportunity, and sometimes survival itself. Drama and tension were constant. Will a tribe betray a pirate for profit? Will a privateer honor his commission or succumb to temptation? Will a corsair strike too soon and alert enemies? These questions shaped history, turning events into human stories full of risk, cunning, and moral complexity. Understanding these alliances reveals the fluid nature of power. Power wasn't just cannons or ships. It was relationships, trust, and navigating social networks. Pirates who grasped this thrived. Those who ignored it vanished. Alliances with privateers, corsairs, and local tribes weren't just tactical. They were strategic, shaping power across oceans. So, what can we take from these stories? Beyond adventure, treasure, and the chase, there's a lesson in adaptability and collaboration. Pirates leveraged knowledge networks that European powers underestimated. Even in chaos, alliances, however unexpected, could mean survival. Pirates were not lone wolves. They were participants in intricate webs of cooperation, negotiation, and mutual benefit. Privators, corsairs, local tribes, they were the hidden engine behind exploits we still celebrate today. Next time you imagine pirates as solitary figures, consider the unseen hands guiding them, the local knowledge keeping them alive, and alliances making daring exploits possible. History is rarely simple, and the stories of pirate alliances reveal the complexity, cunning, and unpredictability of human endeavor. If this tale of unexpected allies has captured your imagination, make sure to subscribe and stay connected. There's more history waiting beneath the waves, and you won't want to miss it.